Hi, welcome back to our channel. Hear me out with D.
And E.
And before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. Come join us in our community. We'd
We're
like to go
funny,
ahead
I
and
promise.
we'd like to go ahead and have, feedback and interact with you guys. So, for today's episode, we're going to discuss one particular person who was just in the headlines, and we've actually spoken about her in one of our episodes from a few weeks ago, Miss Ayesha Curry, or Mrs. Ayesha Curry. She is the wife of Steph Curry, who plays for the Golden State Warriors. And her headline, or really what most people have picked up on, is the fact that she regrets having her kids, or in particular her oldest daughter, Riley, so exposed to social media, or having her be featured a lot in social media from back in the day. I think the quote said that if she'd known how chaotic it was going to be, then she would not have done what she did as far as having her on social media. And that really goes into a much deeper conversation about how social media plays a role now, a huge role in our kids' daily lives and the effects that it has. And just quick overall, her and her family, have decided to like just take a step back from it all and find a sort of balance. Obviously, they're both public people, so they still need to have, some kind of foot in the door, right? With publicity and all that. But they have to also kind of reel some things in and keep the kids, not really out there as much as before. So, what did you think of the headline?
Just before we get started, I just want to, talk a little bit about, their social media presence or like, how their stardom, their celebrity. So
Mm-hmm.
as Dee mentioned, Steph Curry is a part of the Golden State Warriors, four-time champions. I'm so devastated that they're not in the Western Conference Finals right now, but good luck to the Nuggets. It's refreshing to see. But regarding Riley, she really started showing up once Steph started winning, in his when was it, like 2016 or so, when she was like fairly young,
Yeah, yeah, it
four.
was a few years ago.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years old. She was at the games post conference,
The podium,
the podium, and
discussion.
she would say
Yeah.
the cutest things and
Yeah.
great quotes. And, people really followed her. And, she was a dancer. I think she did a couple TikToks kind of thing, like some cute little dances. And Aisha herself, she has a Sweet July, which is a lifestyle magazine. Has her own cookware, her own wine, cover girl. So, they are often on on the spotlight, and they kind of need to be, because that's kind of their business, or at
Mhm.
least more hers than his. But regarding, I guess, taking a step back with the kids, I think, and we've all known this, that the paparazzi has an issue with boundaries with kids.
Uh-huh.
The parents did sign up for this life, to be chased and hounded, to an extent, not like
Okay.
something catastrophic, but there's kind of like no respect for the kids.
Yeah.
It's I think there's like legislation kind of like going on right now, regarding child let me look it up, regarding the paparazzi and how invasive they can be. But I think that, you know, I think she did the right thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the paparazzi definitely is very invasive. I mean, I don't know that it's gotten any worse, than the last decade or so. But for sure, it's been very disheartening to see just like how people don't have those sort of boundaries anymore, don't have that sort of respect. Like Rihanna had to, go to a blogger that she was cool with for him to
Jason.
release
Yeah.
photos. Yeah. I believe it was Hollywood Unlocked. Um, just so that someone else, another publication or paparazzi, wouldn't release photos of her son that she had not shared. right? She had not exposed her son out there. She had not shown him to the world, but here they were kind of like, you know, blackmailing her in a way. It's very seedy. I don't like it. And kids should be a non-starter. I don't understand. Like you said, the parents, okay, they sign up for this stuff, but not the kids. And at the very least, you should be able to respect the fact that they don't want, their kids to be out there like that.
At
So,
the same time, I feel like parents, and maybe we should blame, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes and the Angelina and Brad Pitts of the world. Remember when it was like the gender reveal and
no,
how does the baby look and what's the name, and that really like started like popping off? Maybe we should blame
yeah,
them. But as a celebrity and as a spectator, somebody who follows some of these people, I am invested. I want to see Riley do cute little dances, just to take me out of my mundane Monday.
mhm,
I want to see, nice things here and there. Am I saying that I want a Riley feed all day? No. But I think they, like we mentioned in another episode, they kind of know what's in the territory. Like they know that the fan base wants to see XYZ about their lives. Granted, some people want to see more things than others.
right,
I don't think that they should hide their kids completely, but, I think that the paparazzi should be a little more respectful and like have more boundaries, but at the same time, celebrity parents should understand that that's also the paparazzi's job. And us as spectators, fans, and whatever we want to call ourselves, we are invested in their lives. And,
yeah,
often we're a part of their family. We're buying their products. We're
right.
following their sports. We're reading their magazines. So I think they gotta, respect that too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, obviously, there is no celebrity without fans, right? Like, there is no fame without fans. Um, but, I also understand that, like, your kid is your kid. You're not, you don't have to share them with the world because essentially your work product, that's what you need to share with them, right? Because that's what gets you paid. The things that people share about their personal lives, like, I think I like the George Clooney's of the world, who and Leonardo DiCaprio is another one who
Well, George
only
Clooney
share
dropped off the face of the earth once he met them all. Like we don't even know. There was oceans 8, 9, and 10, and he disappeared.
completely,
Or
completely,
however many oceans there were.
and he reappears with them all, on a red carpet doing promos for something, or they're like at some gala, some humanitarian effort stuff, like that to me, I think is a much better sort of like way of handling these sorts of things, right? Because it's like it leaves you wanting more, but at the same time, it provides us as the fans a boundary also. And just like we ask that the paparazzi has boundaries, then fans should also have boundaries as far as like if they don't want to expose their kids to these things, they shouldn't have to. If they don't want their kids to be out there in the world, then they shouldn't have to because the moment that a photo is posted of these kids, it's shared like all around the
Like
world
rapid
for
fire.
millions. Yeah, for millions of people to see. And so it's like it becomes something or it can become something dangerous. It can become something
Mhm.
disturbing. And so, yeah, no, I mean, if like the celebrity says they don't want to like put their kids on social media, I think that's great. Like, honestly, I think that's great. But
But
what I
with the
love to
George
see,
Clooney scenario, we mentioned it in another episode, which you guys should watch, by the way. I don't know which
yeah,
episode it is, but
all of them are just
you'll
all of
just watch them all. We did mention how some celebrities want privacy.
them.
See, George Clooney was in the spotlight, we all love him and he's
Everybody
so
did.
cute. But as soon as he got serious, let's say with Amal and had the twins, he removed himself from the life. I can respect that.
Yeah,
Now he
yeah,
wants privacy and he doesn't give us anything. I can respect that. But it
yeah.
can't be half in, half out. Let's say Kim Kardashian wants a private life now, but her whole life has been social media, and they want to wiggle in and out. Like, it doesn't work that way. I think
Right.
to create a boundary, you have to have some sacrifices. So, I mean, George Clooney was, he, he- he's he's
An outlier.
he's coasting right now. He's got a career, and
Yeah.
he's focusing on marriage and his kids, obviously. So
Right.
he's removed himself from that life. So I
Yeah.
can't expect him to post all the time.
Right.
He's secluded now. But he can't just be popping in and out and then not expect me not to want to see his kids or want to see what Amal is doing or expecting a next movie from him or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, taking it back to Aisha, what she's, said in the article that she's doing is as far as finding a balance and kind of limiting how much she exposes her kids, limiting how much, she shares of her kids' personal life. And it's not just about the kids, right? Like she discussed that she had her own personal issues with the way she was being portrayed in the media and how clickbaity things were becoming, in which she was not shown in the best of light. And even discussing an episode that she appeared in at the Red Table Talk in 2019 and her being unhappy with the final cut and how she thought she looked crazy. And, she even said that, a lot of stuff like, that's not what I said, or no, that's not how she meant it. And she was at the time dealing with postpartum. She just had her son Cannon, and she was going through depression. So she was going through all these different, range of emotions. Maybe going on the show was not the best idea at the time. But, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And even if you're going through all these things, right? So it sucks that she had that experience. It sucks that she, especially a show that was, supposedly about women, for women, all that stuff, for them to kind of do that to her. So I can understand that she would have wanted to kind of, you know, step away from the limelight. And she mentioned that because of the pandemic, she went through a depression, she had anxiety and all that. She is doing therapy, and that's been very beneficial for her. So, I commend her for that because it's, I get what you're saying about not having one foot in, one foot out, but if at least you can have a sort of a balance or something that works for you, then, you know, that's good too. Because you also have to take into account, like, Riley, right? We all thought she was so adorable in those, like, post game conferences and everything. But she's older now. And these kids, like, and I have, like, a teenage nephew, one who's about to be a teenager, like, they don't care to socialize as much anymore with their parents. They don't care to do adorable things anymore.
Mhm.
Whereas my 5-year-old nephew and my 10-year-old nephew are quick to, like, dance around, play around, and everything. The older ones are, like, leaning up. So I can assume that, maybe Riley's heading in that direction. Well, she also doesn't, maybe want to be taking pictures all the time and being posted, because kids are also now very much aware that they're being posted on social media.
Mhm.
And one of my nephews even mentioned something about, like, oh, are you putting that on Facebook? And it was a picture that I had taken for his birthday, and I was just like, no, no. And I didn't know how to react to that because it was just like really weird. And then he just kind of, like, it's like he knew, right? It's his birthday, so posts are going on social media. And I was just like, oh, well, that's odd because he's not on social media, but he knows this now. And that was just like weird to me.
I don't know. I think celebrities probably have different rules. I can be private, them
Yeah.
expecting privacy. It could be a little far-fetched. I understand, now
Yeah.
that you mentioned that the kids are older. I have a goddaughter who's the same way. And just like, am I, don't put me online. Don't do this. Don't do, I
Yeah.
know what their aversion is to online. I'll be like, oh, okay. I
But
respect
it's
it.
good.
So if
Yeah, that's
Riley's,
good.
that way, or, any other celebrity kids, I would understand. But I think there's just needs to be boundaries everywhere.
Yeah.
Paparazzi needs to have boundaries on celebrities and kids. We need to respect these kids' boundaries. We need to respect the parents' boundaries.
Right.
But, oftentimes it's just they're blurred lines. And I mean,
Yeah.
they
It's
manage it the
tricky.
best.
Yeah. It is a tricky thing, like, especially in today's day and age, especially with how rampant, everything is with social media. It is chaotic, taking a quote, from Ayesha. It's a very chaotic place to be. And, I think for my own personal sanity, I've limited how much of social media I do during the day. And I try to avoid it as much as possible. Like while I'm at work and all that. It's like if I see something funny, okay, sure. But I don't want to be like doom scrolling. It's like no. But so I get, that like it's gotta be tough, and we've discussed this plenty of times that like not only is it tough enough like for us regular people, I can't imagine on such a large scale having millions of people following you and judging you and possibly judging your kids, right? Because that's another thing that people do, comment negative things about children, which is like mind boggling to me.
Yeah.
What does that have absolutely anything to do with anything, But anyhow, so I really do think that what she's trying to do, what Aisha is trying to do, if that's what works best for her and her family, then I think that's great. And I can see how it can be a beneficial thing, and it can be something, that will probably be in the long run for the best for everybody.
I'm rooting for you, Aisha. And Steph. Get another
Yeah,
championship next year.
I love their whole family. Like, they're just super cute. I love them.
All right.
Well, I guess that will be wrapping up the short episode. Just wanted to give our thoughts on this very interesting topic because we're sure this is not the end of it, and there'll be plenty of more people discussing all of this stuff, especially if there is going to be any legislation that'll be coming about both social media usage for kids and the paparazzi's handling of celebrity kids. So, anyway, any final thoughts?
Nope. Not at all. I mean,
Well,
I hope that I hope that it works out for Aisha and Pam
yeah,
and every other celebrity that wants to protect their kids.
yeah. It should be a hard line, always. Well, then, like we do now every ending of the episode, guys, reminder to subscribe, like, comment, you know.
Join, love us, hate us. We welcome it all.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think. We may agree with you, and it's all about hearing each other out. That's why that's who we are.
Hear us
So,
out.
yeah, I'm Dee,
I'm E.
and that was it.
All right.
We'll see
Peace
you guys next
out.
time. Bye.